Well, we've been describing the basic chipping motion, and that one's a really important one to know. There are many variations on that you'll learn over time, but learning that one is by far the most important. Now, a great short game is a blend of two things. It's hitting it solid, which we've been working on so far, and hitting it the right distance. You can only learn that through practice. Hitting it the right distance is doing it over and over again until you learn how big of a swing to make the ball go a certain distance. Now, what I'm going to show you is a couple of my favorite methods for learning how to hit it the right distance, a couple of drills that you'll be able to use, whether you use it at the golf course or in your backyard. You'll notice here I don't have a hole, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can use just a grass area to practice this technique. Now, the first one I use is one I call the leapfrog drill. And this is something I'll run through a couple of times before I play a round of golf, just to get my feel for distance down. Now, the way you play leapfrog is you start with a shot, and you want to start with a very short shot, just about as short as you can manage, and go ahead and hit that ball out there. Now, wherever that ball finishes, that's going to be your next target. So you're going to try to take this ball and fly it right on top of that ball if you can, as close as you can. And wherever that ball finishes, that becomes your next target. And you keep on leapfrogging out until you run out of room or you run out of balls. This is a great thing to do. I'll go ahead and run through this and go out to about 50 or 60 yards, and then I'll start over and do it again. I'll run through it twice. So it's a great thing to do to get ready for your round, to play a little game of leapfrog, and you can really start to get that feel for distance down. Now, what I'm going to show you is another one we can use, and this is really good for the backyard. Now, the second drill you're going to use is a great one for your backyard. The reason being, sometimes the ball won't run out very well, so leapfrog gets a little bit tough to play. This is also a great one if the ground is real ratty and you don't like what you're flying it onto, or if there's 10 people on the chipping green and there's nowhere for you to chip. This is also an excellent way to do it. What I've done here is to create a couple of triangles out here, one about 10 yards and one about 20 yards away. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play some shots to those different triangles, trying to land it as best I can into those little spots there. So this gives me a great feel, if you will, a great chance to practice flying the ball the right distance. And I want to mix it up and go back and forth between the two different targets to, again, give me that feel for distance. It's not something where I want to stand there and do it over and over and over again to the same target. I want to mix those targets up, going back and forth. So now I go ahead and play one a little bit to the longer shot here. Now, this particular shot, I want you to be very specific in how well you're doing. You may only be able to land it in those windows maybe 10 to 20% of the time. But for those times when you do miss, it should look like it's going to go in. So if you're missing the short target, maybe a 20-yard target by more than about 5 feet, or let's say that you put a target out there at 50 yards, if you're missing it by, say, more than 15 feet, then you need to keep practicing this shot until you can. So these shots will really help you with your feel for distance and really help you to develop a short game that you can be proud of.